Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to XBOW. We're here in Australia. I am your commentator for today, accompanied by Dude playing trombone, who will be joining us later on in the race. It is qualifying at the moment with Wolf Landry leading provisional pole, followed by one of the McLarens, Robloxian, in P2 at the moment. I will bring some more updates to you very soon. For now, we'll just have to apologize for the slightly poor video quality that you might be receiving. It is a bit blurry, but there's nothing that we can do about that. So it's a 39-3 at the moment. There's leading. It's pretty much uncontested, for over a second separating the top two in the order right now, so it seems pretty comfortable for Wolf Landry. I say that as Wolf Landry takes the purple first sector. That means he's fastest in the first sector, but it does seem as if he's going to back off now. I believe he hit the wall there.
I'm gonna start speaking. Give me a sec, I'm setting everything up. Actually, this is the only thing I need.
So Andrew, a person that I hadn't noticed had moved up the order in the Petronas Red Bull car, is now up into P2, taking that away from the McLaren of Robloxian.
It's like it's getting coded.
So Wolf Landry currently in the lead with a 139.368. Andri falling behind with a 140.391. Seems as if Robloxian in the McLaren is also holding it right into those podium positions right there with a 140.621, only being around 200ths of a second behind Andri. So very beautiful day here in Blue Wallaby Park. Apologies for the blurriness. Hopefully that will be fixed in the future. So just 2 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. Once again, Wolf maintaining that P1. So not too much of a change in these qualifying positions.
It's been rather uncontested for the entire qualifying session for Wolf Landry. However, it is a nice battle shaping up for the positions 2, 3, and 4, as these drivers are extremely close. Well, specifically 3rd and 4th, only a couple of hundredths separating the two of them, 8 to be exact. So we're on the final few minutes in the qualifying session. Wolf Landry has improved his time by a 10th.
Destructively hitting those sand dunes real quick. Looks like he took air. But only 10 seconds left in the qualifying session. It looks like Wolf Landry will be holding that pole position. He actually is starting another lap with a purple sector 1 already. He may be able to improve his time. Does not look like Andri is improving his time though, as he's only has a yellow sector 1.
One thing I have noticed is that Wolf Landry is making the use of the entire track, going off the track entirely in most places onto the grass. I wonder if there's going to be anything I wonder if there's going to be any repercussions of going off the track for Wolf Landry, if there's going to be a penalization. I wouldn't believe that there would be, but
Wolf Landry just got a purple sector too, so it does look like he is definitely improving on his lap. If he can just maintain a green sector 3, he probably will come out with the better lap. I mean, he will.
it's pretty much guaranteed that Wolf Landry will be taking it pole, and to rub salt into the wound, improves by 7 attempts to take pole for the race. So that's the qualifying order for today's sprint race. It's been set. Wolf Landry in first for the sprint race, followed by Andre in the Red Bull.
Yeah, Rolf Landry has been absolutely dominating this season. He's been beating everyone. The only time we've actually had a real battle between him and another driver was with Itra, but it's found out that recently Itra has been using exploits.
Yeah, there's a whole entire investigation into most of the drivers in a wide variety of series, including Itra in XBOW and various drivers in Formula 1.
So the drivers are now lining up on the grid as we wait for this race to begin.
So we're starting to see the first couple of drivers lining up onto the grid now. These drivers will be preparing themselves for the race ahead of them. They'll be talking to themselves in the head, going over everything that they found out during practice sessions, and trying to work out where they can gain time even from qualifying in the race.
So Noble is another driver who has shown to have, he is capable of getting these good podium positions. He is not doing as well in qualifying today from his last race results as he is in P9, but he does have a chance of getting a podium position. We saw him get one at South Korea in Suwon. He actually got a P2 right behind Wolf Energy.
It certainly shows the divide between what is required for each track. For instance, for experience, Australia is a very driver-oriented track, and of course in a sprint, in a stock series, of course it's going to be driver-oriented, but even more on Australia it shows the most, and on tracks like Korea, it can just be very dependent on slipstream and other factors like that.
Yeah, most definitely. McLaren has shown that they have been very happy with this season. Robloxian, I believe, I'm not sure if it's the first or second driver, but Robloxian has been showing that he is capable of getting a lot of podium positions. Obviously, he hasn't won any races yet because Wolf Landry has had a 3-race streak. He has won every single race in this season currently. I'm not sure if that goes for sprint races too. No, actually, no, he does not. He has not won every single race. I do not believe he won the French sprint race, as he came in P3.
McLaren is the sort of team, but personally I wouldn't expect to be this far up the order, of course, knowing F1 best. They aren't particularly the most competitive team, apart from their very competitive driver lineup, which seems to be very much the case in XBOW 2. But of course, it's not qualifying pace that matters, it's definitely race pace, and we'll see which drivers are the most consistent and the most quick. So So it'll be 9 laps for the sprint race. And as a general rule of thumb, if you want to know the length of both races, the sprint race will be calculated based on the pole time. And one thing I've learned is usually the feature race is just about double the laps in the sprint race. Just waiting for the rest of the drivers to line up on the grid for a couple of grid slots. Empty, but most of the drivers are out of their garage and onto the racetrack.
So I believe it's turn 6 where we had a lot of drivers going over those sand bumps, or the gravel bumps. I'm not sure what material it is, but we saw a lot of drivers going over them in GT3, F1, and pretty much every single league that has raced here. It's a very crucial factor that drivers must be careful of, because if you go over those, it's definitely going to make you lose position.
Yeah, the turn 7 bumps at that chicane, it's very quick, but it's very easy to get wrong. So if you get it even slightly wrong, you may even find yourself going over those bumps. And when you go over those bumps, it's either you flip or you lose a lot of time. Either way, you lose a lot of time, but it's even amplified when you flip. I think we're waiting on one car to get onto the grid, and then we'll start the proceedings of the sprint race.
So we've been waiting for a long time now. Sorry about that. It seems as if all drivers are on the grid, so not sure what we're waiting for.
One driver is in the pit lane changing.
Oh, I see them now. So we're just waiting for JTS Chase. Looks like he's switching to the soft tire compound. I'm sure most of everyone else is switching. Starting on the soft tire compound. But actually, there are a few hards out there. So it's going to be a mix of soft and hard tire compounds across the grid.
Quite a lot of the top 10 are running the hard compounds. I'm relatively new to XBOW, so I'm not quite sure on the relative tire degradation values, but I would assume that running soft tires will put you at a disadvantage at the end of the race, unless you're exceptional at making sure that they last. One of the strangest factors about the Australia track is that the pole grid slot is on the right side of the grid, also known as the dirty side of the grid, which means they'll have to move over in order to get the racing line for the first turn. Usually it's pole on the racing line, but it's certainly changed for this track in particular.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe all the drivers are on the grid. So it looks like the race directors are just messing with the timer to try and calibrate it so it's correct. But we should be starting momentarily. And so we're just looking forward to a very exciting race.
Any issues that they'll have, they'll want to iron out very soon. I believe we're very close to getting underway anyway. So the driver's being instructed.
Sorry.
The driver's been instructed to jump out and back in. That means they'll appear on the driver's how it's a genuine custom. In Ion, it's so no one gets put a lap behind because they don't want that. That's what will happen if you do not jump out and get back in to your car on the grid. Of course, it shouldn't be like that, but that's how it works. So we deal with it.
The drivers are now being told to watch the lights. This race is going to start. 4 lights, 5 lights. And it's lights out. Wolf Landry, a good start, but it looks like one of the Red Bulls is right behind him. Andrew actually might have gotten a better start than Wolf Landry as he's catching up to him in turn 1. Robloxian in P3, and it looks like... No, Andrew's very close. Robloxian going down that inside line, but it looks like he did fall back a bit. And Robloxian is still in that P3 position, along with Andrew in P2 and Wolf Landry in P1.
But Wolf Landry already creating a gap between the second position. It's already visible at this point, and you wouldn't expect it to be that way, especially when you consider the closeness of the pack in other series.
It does look like Robloxian has dropped back a lot. He had a strong start in the first few turns, but he has definitely fallen back as I'm not sure how to pronounce that name, is now in P3.
Speaking of start, the person that has not had a good start at all, not Neymar in the... Forgive me if this takes me a while, in the Cyrex car there. It's not a very good start. He's already very far way behind the other drivers.
Like you said previously, Wolf Landry was already creating a gap for himself. He already has a 2-second gap between him and the rest of the pack. Seems like Andrew is leading the pack at the moment with 2 green sectors. There's a few people on the track for some reason.
GTS Chase seemed to have picked up the message to jump out of his car but not to get back into it, and it's despawned. So Wolf Landry keeping it very consistent, increasing the gap to the car behind.
He's also gotten that fastest lap, and it looks like he already has a purple sector 1 for his second lap of this race.
That's quickly took away from him.
Oh, and he's hit the sand dunes. He's hit the sand dunes. Definitely lost a bit of time right there. His car was facing the wrong side of the track for a bit.
And Mr. Cowfox pretty much replicates what Wolf Landry did, just in a slightly less aggressive manner. And there's someone at the back who's flipped. That's Dirtpad in the other McLaren, which is a huge contrast compared to his teammate.
Andrew coming back up to that P2 position. He is retaking it.
So just had confirmation that collisions will be turned on in the middle of lap 13, but warning will be given, so we will try to update you on when that warning is.
Wolflandry has been getting purple sectors over and over throughout this race. It's only been 3 laps, and he has a 1.75 gap between him and the rest of the pack. That did drop because he did hit those dunes over there at turn 7, I believe.
The purple sectors clearly don't matter considering Robloxian himself has taken the fastest lap away from Wolflandry, but Wolflandry will be sure to respond by setting the purple first sector. So collisions to be turning on very soon.
Wolflandry went a bit wide right there on the sausage curb. Those sausage curbs are definitely not good for driving over, as since these cars are so low, it's just very, very bumpy.
Collisions on in 5 seconds. That means we'll start to see potentially some huge crashes between these drivers, especially in the parts of the track that are more bunched up.
And right as you say that, collisions are turned on.
Those collisions we have our first couple of collisions.
Oh,
Starts
whoa.
by the McLaren hitting the, I believe that was the Frost Motorsports car, and that's just a huge backup, and that's just been a huge chain reaction.
Yeah, I saw Steven Liu and Semfrost in that pack, and then I also saw Red Bull going wide. I believe he was trying to... Oh, and Steven Liu spins out. He was hit by the Red Bull in the final turn. Not gonna help his race out at all. He's going very slow indeed.
And Wolflandry deals with the threat of Robloxian with the fastest lap, setting it by himself, increasing the gap to 4 seconds now to the other drivers.
Oh, and it looks like Keeper Gas is going a bit slow into the first turn. Oh, and he's been hit. He's been hit. I'm not sure who hit him. It looked like Steven Liu was right next to him. He has stopped on the track, and now he's gone rolling again.
Trooper in the 97 has tried to pass 2 drivers, and has just gone way too deep and spun himself out. This is certainly reminding me of the Suwon sprint race.
Oh, and right
F2.
as I say that, I see Apollo Struck is spun out. Sorry to interrupt you there, but Apollo Struck in the Apollo Motorsports is spun out. Not sure who hit him, but it was during Sector 2.
And Steven Liu, now on the back of Apollo Struck, he'll be wanting to be making a move very shortly. He won't want to be sticking behind, and goes for the inside, but is quickly cut off by the Apollo driver there.
Yeah, there's been a lot of collisions here. It's only lap 5, and we've seen probably around 5 or 7 collisions, in my opinion. I don't know, there's just been so many.
And it's Destructively, who's gone over the sausage curbs on the penultimate corner and has gone flying. That's lost him a lot of time, moving down to P10, all the way from, if I can find out for you, all the way from P7, so that's 3 positions he's lost, and it looks like he's going to lose a couple more by the drivers behind him.
Yeah, while we've been paying attention to all these crashes and collisions between these drivers, Wolflandry has managed to gain himself a 5.6 second gap between him and Andrew, who's currently leading the pack.
Wolflandry will want to make sure that that gap stays consistent, as Wolflandry begins to filter through the lap
Oh,
cars.
and I
Was
believe
that?
I believe Apollo just hit those hills right there, the dunes, or it's very hard to describe what they are, but those bumps on turn 7, and he did go flying a bit there.
Those are mounds for anyone's information, anyone that wishes to know that.
Oh, there's ISO Games is flipped over. Yeah, he hit those mounds. Thanks you for telling me the word, but he hit those mounds, and oh no, he's just hit B guys. ISO Games flipped over, and then he hit B guys when he was re-entering the track.
We're starting to get quite a few, and allow me to correct myself in that sentence. We're starting to get a bit of a battle for second place between the 97 Cognizant car and the Red Bull, between Xeniorna and Andre.
I believe there was a Red Bull who was hit on the main straight there.
That will be the other Red Bull of Destructively.
Pilot Foreman Semfrost fighting for that P8 position. Looks like Pilot is coming out and will hold that P8 position, but Semfrost is not too far behind. It looks like Ben 152 went a bit wide there after the mounds. He did not hit him luckily, but he did go a bit wide.
So the battle shaping up for P2 is closer than ever, only 9 tenths separating the two of them now, with 3 laps remaining in this race, correction 4. Now both be pushing to the limits to make sure that they don't lose or gain too much time or lose too much time to the other driver.
Wolflandry now has an 8-second gap. He's just increasing it over the entire race.
It's even closer now between the Cognizant and the Red Bull, 8 tenths, and it looks like it's going to shrink in the next couple of corners. Yep, it's only 6 tenths between the two drivers, taking very similar lines. The Cognizant is on 97, forgive me, is on the soft, and Andre is on the hard tires, so I'd be wondering if the soft tires are feeling worse or better than those hard tires.
Do not believe that Apollo Motorsports is happy in those P14 and P15 positions, as they are not in the points.
But it's really getting close, and Personal, the 97 hits the back of the Petronas Red Bull there, losing him quite a considerable chunk of time.
Yeah, that was Nirana and Andre touching a bit right there.
As much as Nirana will want that podium, they'll definitely still want P2, but they will want to also keep that P3 position, even if it means that they won't get as many points as they could be. It's going to take a miracle for Nirana to be able to catch up to Andre in these 2 laps, and by a miracle I mean Nirana not making a single mistake and Andre making quite a considerable mistake.
Seems like that battle for P8 is starting again. We've got 3 cars all trying to get there.
Oh,
It looks like
Stephen Liu, the crate driver, was just hitting destructively. Sorry to cut you off there.
yeah, I was just about to say the same thing, so you're good.
A battle shaping up for P8, all the way from P8 to P11 on these drivers, wanting to get the most points positions, or the most points in the positions they are. Specifically, Semfrost, who is outside of the points right now, will definitely want to capitalize on these three battling. It's very much a column between these drivers at the moment.
Nani and P9. Oh no, Nani, who just was passed by B guys, I believe, was riding those sausage curbs, and seems like he lost some time there, which B guys definitely took advantage of for P19.
So Andre is going to come up to back markers, so he might have issues lapping them, which could cost him P2. But I think that Andre will just be rather considerate of the back markers. I say that as he gets hit, and that leaves Neona a nice little gap to take P2 from him on the last lap. He is going to be furious about that.
Seems like Wolf Landry just passed a back marker, but he also hit the back marker at the same time, and the back marker is just being dragged across the track by him.
Oh, Andre, anxious to get that P2 position back, and as
Oh,
with
Andre
consequence
now in
just
P3,
failed
but
to
it looks
do
like
it.
Niorna hit a curb or something and went flying, but it's not enough for Andrew to catch up.
Andre is definitely significantly further behind. Anyway, Wolf Landry coming round the rest of the lap, only a few corners away from the sprint race victory for Wolf Landry, a dominant victory, meaning that he's pulled out over 2 seconds every single lap from the P2 position. Comes down the main straight, behind Dirtpad the McLaren to come and win the sprint race here
Whoa.
in Australia.
And it doesn't seem like Dirtpad did finish the race. Dirtpad is he did not finish it, so he spun out on the last, like on the final straight. I'm not sure if he thought he was gonna finish right there, but Dirtpad lost a lot of time right there.
I missed something very significant. Andre has taken P2 from Niorna on the last lap. Niorna must have made a very significant mistake.
Oh wow, I'm sure Andre is very happy about that.
So it's Wolf Landry, followed by Angie, followed by Niorna. In
Ben
the...
trying to get
Continue.
Ben was trying to get past Real Body Boy in the last straight, but it was not enough to finish in P6, so Ben will be finishing in P7, destructively crossing the line in the Red Bull Petronas, with Apollo Struck following right behind.
And as is traditions for collision races, a massive pile-up has been started at the start-finish line.
So the drivers are going back to the pits to get ready for the feature race that will take part shortly.
So we're just waiting for everyone to start lining up for the 19-lap feature race. So Landry seems to be confused about how reverse grids work, which I'm confused about. So it's the top 10 reverse, which means the person who is 10th in our sprint race will start on pole position for the feature race. Person in P10, of course, was Mr. Cowpox. Was it? Which means that our sprint race winner, Wolf Landry, will start in P10. Waiting on the last couple of drivers to move towards the grid.
So just waiting for the race to start, but it seems as if Stephen Liu will not be starting the race as he has been series locked to GT3.
That's because of new rules that were introduced after the end of Season 3 in order to prevent drivers from switching multiple times to different series.
So the team personnel are being asked to step off the grid. Drivers should be asked shortly to jump in and out of their cars to reset the leaderboard. And then we should be ready to start the lights.
So there you are, the drivers jumping out of their cars, getting back into them.
So the leaderboard is ready. The lights should be starting soon, and they are. First lights coming on. 5 lights. And there the drivers go. That was a pretty long wait for the lights to actually go out. Mr. Cowpokes in P1 again. Semfrost P2 and Pilot Form in P3. It seems as if Mr. Cowpokes is holding on to that P1 right now. And that was a major lag spike right there. I'm not sure if anyone else experienced that. But Mr. Cowpokes has lost the P1. It looks like he's in P2 now. With Ben in P1.
But a couple of
Wolf
drivers...
Landry.
Oh, who's that? That's Pilot
That's
Form.
Pilot Form. And it seems like...
destructively, going over those mounds there, and ISO Games has spun around 2 at the exit of that chicane.
ISO Games now drop back all the way to last place. Ben 1 holding that P1 position, but the pack is very close behind him.
Ran out of skill, and then just went straight off. For most of these drivers would be the story, but not for Wolf Landry, who's making their way to the front of the pack with Neorna at the moment, up into P1 by the looks of it.
Yeah, Wolf Landry, it's only been 2 sectors, and he's already at a P4 after starting P10 from the reverse grid.
It seems as if that Wolf Landry's team will be taking a very aggressive strategy as they have started on the soft tyres compared to 97 who have started on those hard compound tyres. The hards being the slower choice of the two, but the longest lasting.
Neorna got that fastest lap, and he had P1 at the main straight, but it seems like Mr. Cowpox has regained P1. It was very close on the main straight. They're both wheel to wheel. Actually, their cars were meshed inside of each other.
Mr. Cowfox is in P6, but I think you mean Ben, who is in P2, but Wolf Landry has taken the official quickest first sector.
Yes, I did mean Ben. Apologies. But returning to Mr. Cowpox, he started in P1, from that reverse code that helped him a lot, but he's now on P6, and it looks like he's about to lose it to Noble.
So Wolf Landry in the lead right now, and he will want to not stay as close as he is to the pack right now. He'll want to get away from them as soon as possible. But Njorna, using the straight line speed advantage that he has, that's either set up or just the fast superiority from Slipstream. Wolf Landry is struggling to get away from these drivers. Maybe he will be able to in the more technical section of the circuit.
A lot of drivers are going wide into the last turns to try and get a better racing line into the final turn.
Yeah, some drivers are being extremely adventurous with the track limits. You could argue it's on the edge of legality, if not over it. So Njorna, who has gone quickest in the first sector out of everyone so far, and is on a push to take the quickest in the second sector. And I don't think he'll be able to unless he starts copying the lines of Wolf Landry. Wolf Landry goes extremely far out to the right-hand side, off the track even, and gets a much better line through that chicane, which it is gaining him a lot of time. Evident in that purple sector he has just got. That is going to anger a few of the drivers, considering that that's not very... that's usually frowned upon. So Wolf Landry setting a new fastest lap, but it's a battle between Ben and Njorna for P2. Very close between those two drivers, only 4 100ths of a second separating them on the track.
Noble seems to be doing pretty good this race. Like I said, he did get P2 in the last feature race we had at, I believe it was Suwon. So he does have a chance of getting a podium position, but it's very far from where he is right now at P6.
Yeah, like I said, Australia very much a driver's track, and clearly Noble isn't the most experienced with the track, and that's what I find one of the issues with the 24-hour qualifying format that XBOW has. Any driver can come online at any time within a 24-hour period and practice on the circuit, which could be explanatory for Wolf Landry's extra pace over these drivers, potentially having more time to spend practicing and learning the layout of the circuit. Ben having a rather large issue through that final corner. Let's leave Njorna a good gap to try and overtake the P2 car.
That battle between Ben and Njorna is still going on for that P2 position. For some reason, lots of teams are using the same team color scheme.
Yes, you have Red Bull and... Forgive me if I get the team name wrong, Luxor, with a similar shade of blue. I believe that's actually identical. You've got a lot of teams running blue colours. You could say it resembles very closely the colours that you would have seen if in real life F1 if they hadn't gone for the team logo system.
Yeah,
which
it's the
might
same
a lot
with
of blues.
Yeah, it's the same with McLaren and the Rockstar team. Is that Luxor? Or no, it's not Luxor.
Yeah, the Rockstar and the McLaren, you can see it very closely if you look at the leaderboard. You've got two of the cars right next to each other, Mr. Cowfox and Robloxian, P7 and P8, not respectively. Robloxian being the McLaren and Mr. Cowfox being the Rockstar. Ben, in the first of the Cyrex cars, is certainly a rather stark contrast to his teammate, not Neymar, who's 63 seconds down already in P17, just outside of the leaderboard that you can see at the moment. I'm sure you'll be able to see that in a second. At the moment, it's a rather calm race. Most of these drivers, apart from Ben and Niona, who are going to battle on the track today. Being very conservative through a lot of these corners. The 97 in P2 at the moment, but the Cyrex closely behind, trying to catch up for that P2 position. Of course, with no collide in the feature race, we won't see any collisions between the drivers, which means they can just phase through each other. The collisions, of course, makes it easier to overtake other drivers, but also makes it harder to anticipate if you're ahead or not, due to a concept called vision lag in the real racing community. Vision lag is where the cars, you can see them visibly lagging around the track, and on your screen you will appear ahead of another driver, even if they are ahead of you to another person. Nice battle is shaping up between Robloxian and McLaren and Mr. Cowpox in the Rockstar. Rockstar 1.2 seconds behind the McLaren, relentless to try and catch up for that P7 points paying position. Wolf Landry is simply checked out from the other drivers at the moment with a 7-second lead compared to everyone else. And that is the Rockstar Mr. Cowpox going over the bumps and spinning around on the exit of the chicane. That's going to cost him a couple of seconds, but hopefully he'll be able to regain them on the McLaren. You can see a replay on board with the Rockstar driver going over the bumps at turn 7. He's tried to make the corner, he's sliding throughout the corner, and then it's just hit the bumps and gone very wide.
It's not gonna help him in that chase down at that after that McLaren.
But Ben now is right on the back of Niona, if not ahead of them. They're basically side by side at this point. Ben has improved his second sector, so he's maybe found a new lease of life in those tyres. He will now try and attack the 97 driver. 7 attempts separating them. I'm not sure that's entirely correct. We'll see after this next corner.
Yeah, pretty much the entire race, Niorna and Ben have been fighting for that second position. Seems like Andre, who is actually in, he's been in P2 a lot for the past bit, but he's in P4 right now. And it does look like he has a bit of a gap between him and Ben.
And that gap is growing. Go back a bit in the pack, and both of the Valor Academy cars have came into the pit lane. That's Sky of SCS and Pilot For Me coming into the pits, changing their tyres. Both cars have been put onto the hard compound tyre, a very uniform strategy, as you would expect from a Valor team. The order, though, does seem to be catching up a little to Wolf Landry, so Wolf Landry's soft tyres are probably wearing out, and the owner will have a fresh lease of life, especially considering that they are on the hard tyres. They'll probably have a bit more grip in those tyres than Wolf Landry on those soft tyres. The soft tyres, of course, faster, but degrade quicker compared to the hard tyres, which degrade slower, but are also slower in terms of pace. The advantage of running hard tyres is that you'll have the advantage over other drivers later on into the soft stint, which means you can overcut them, which is where you pit after they do.
So it seems like Niorna, who is, oh, it looks like a car hit that wall right there. Niorna, who's on the hard tire compound, has gone ahead of Ben and is now securing that P2 position. That tire compound is now paying off because Niorna does have better tire percentages regarding his tires, and because Ben has like 2% less than him. Actually, no, 4% in the left front. So those soft tires are now degrading, or going to be slower than those hard tires.
Not Neymar is about to be lapped by his teammate. That's going to sting a lot. But the gap is starting to open up between Wolf Landry and Niorna. The gap that we saw closing is now opening up a little. Niorna seems to have backed off a little or has burnt out the tyres that they had. Or has just been told to try and extend their stint so they can get a overcut of some sort.
Yeah, some of these Expo drivers who are on the soft tire compound may be looking at pit stop very soon.
And Andre comes into the pits.
Oh, and right as I say that.
So Niorna definitely backing off from Wolf Landry, losing over 2 seconds in that first sector.
Andre is surprisingly going on the hard tire.
I wouldn't say that's surprising, there's 8 laps left in the race. It's better to go for a more durable compound and have tyre grip left at the end than go on a tyre that will only just last you to the end and be struggling on it at the end of the race. So Niorna gains back the time he lost in the first sector, 1.7 seconds to be exact. Niorna seems to have the pace advantage in Sector 2 compared to Wolf Landry. That could just be it, that Wolf Landry is struggling more in Sector 2 due to a tyre deficit. Let's see if he'll come into the pits this lap, and he does come into the pits to replace those soft tyres. We'll see what he puts on momentarily.
Yeah, he could really. We really have no idea what he could possibly be getting on. I mean, we've seen drivers, going on multiple different stiffs.
It's a second set of soft tyres for Wolf Landry.
Yeah, so we will. I mean, he's obviously proven that he can create a huge gap between him and the rest of the pack. So I believe that can be the right choice for him. He just has to continue what he's doing and maintain that pace he's been holding the entire race.
Here's a question for you. What's happened to Ben?
Yeah, Ben fell back along like a lot. I don't believe he pitted. Hold on.
Ben pit.
Oh, he did pit. So Ben did pit. He has fresh tires. That possibly can explain why he's dropped back all the way down to P5. Oh, Niorna slipping a bit. Niorna may be coming into the pits this lap as their tires are now worn. And he's shown that he's had a loss of grip just right there on that turn where he went wide.
Some cars can become quite rear sensitive. It can depend on setup sometimes, but maybe this situation might just be the tires.
You're in the final sector now. Let's see if he comes into the pits or stays out an extra lap. I believe he will be coming into the pits, but let's just see.
Just looking at the mentality, he does come into the pit lane. Let's see. He has a bit of an oversteer correction coming into the pit lane entry. He's on the hard tires. Let's see what he replaces them with. It'd be rather stupid if he didn't go onto the soft tires, and yes, he has gone onto the hard tires and will be coming out of the pit lane. So that's Robloxian and Noble 6 Lives coming into the pit lane now. Robloxian replacing hard tires and Noble too. Wolf Landry seems to be pushing on those new soft tires.
So the man who was battling Niorna before, Ben 152, did not catch up to Niorna. He's still behind that McLaren of Robloxian who recently just pit. So top 5, I'm pretty sure everyone in the top 5 has pit. Yes, everyone in the top 5 has pit. Wolflander may be setting a new personal best for this track. 2 purple sectors. I mean, he already has the fastest lap, but I'm pretty sure he wants to improve on that, as anyone would.
Wolf Landry, 2 purple sectors. I was going to point out before my internet decided to drop out for a couple of seconds. Wolf Landry goes purple in the first sector, going over the bumps in the penultimate corner there, but I'm not sure it will affect him too much. Taking a slower final sector, but I'm not sure how much slower that will be. Niorna, however, might be a different story. Improves in the final sector. It's not the fastest lap though.
Some confirmation right there. Wolflander did not improve his lap with that because that yellow sector in sector 3 did not help him out.
Thanks for the information. Wolflandry though, going again, setting purple first sector. Wolflandry is intent on pushing as hard as he possibly can to win this race. With 7 laps remaining, it seems rather insensitive to be pushing right now. Is he just going to kill his tires in the first half of his stint and worry about it later on when he has to conserve them? Wolflandry.
Looks like he had yellow sector 2 right there.
Yeah, unable to improve in the second sector, but let's see if he can improve his final sector. Of course, going over the bumps last time around, he'll be sure not to make the same mistake. I am positive if he has learned anything. Noble and Roblox both setting personal best sector 1s and sector 2s as Wolf Landry.
It seems like Andre and Ben are fighting for that P3 position. Andre holding on for it right now, but Ben is right behind his tail. Going into Sector 3 now. Their
Andre-
cars are pretty much inside of each other. Routing the final turns now. Ben looks like he got the lead there. Will he hold it though? As we come onto the main straight of the track. And yes, it does look like he will hold it, but Andre is just a little bit behind. He's trying to regain that third place right there and maintain that podium position. But it looks like Ben will hold that third position and secure it. I'm sure his team will be happy for today.
Yeah, the Cyrex team certainly having a good race this time around. Cyrex team you didn't really see much of in the sprint race, probably due to being hit a couple of times. Ben P7 during the sprint race. I'm sure he'll be looking for a much better result this time around, and it's certainly looking as if he will get a better result this time around. Ben pulling away from Andre. The Cyrex pulling away from the Red Bull.
Yeah, Ben is currently a second ahead of Andre. Definitely securing that spot. Only 5 laps left in the race.
Seven laps is still very long in the grand scheme of things. Seems very settled in the top 2 at the moment. P3 lightly contested by Andre. Andre will be looking to take back that podium position, but I doubt Andre will be pushing too hard at the moment, considering he still has a rather considerable time frame ahead of him. The battle that is shaping up again is the battle for P7, but it seems as if AK Freezy and that car is falling away from Mr. Cowpox in the rock start. So what was going to be a battle has now turned into a nice civil dispute.
It seems like Semfrost and the real Body Boy are now fighting for P9. Oh, Semfrost was just disconnected. Just disconnected and the worst time possible as he was fighting with the real Body Boy. I'm sure the real Body Boy is happy about that as that's a free position for him.
I mean,
behind him are now
it's great to get a free position, but when your opponent is disconnected, it's kind of underwhelming to not have a real battle for them. For those of you just joining us, we are on the 16th lap of our 19-lap sprint race at Australia.
Wolflander does not seem to be pushing for the fast to improve on his lap time anymore. All I've been seeing is yellow sectors, but Robloxian has actually been getting a lot of green sectors lately. Let's see if he's been trying to get a new personal best.
I don't think that's what he's aiming for. It seems as if he's aiming for the P5 position, currently held by Noble 6 Lives.
Well, Robloxian just got the fastest lap. He actually did beat his time after that lap that we just saw.
Also, Andre has a rather comfortable lead at the moment, but he can still... Oh, I don't think he can actually The sad thing I've noticed is not Neymar still hasn't been able to overtake Sam Frost because he was that far behind him. As well, Landry comes up to lap for the second time this race, not Neymar. Not Neymar will not be very impressed with his performance today.
Yeah, Wolf Landry has been pretty much leading this race the entire time. I think it only took him like 1 or 2 laps to get into P1. He's been showing a very good performance. He's been showing a very good performance the entire season. And I'm pretty sure.
But is it everyone up to? Oh no, I'm probably wrong here. Seems as if everyone up to P15 has been lapped or has DNF'd in some form.
It looks like Wolf Landry is coming up behind the back marker of Sky of SDS.
Oh.
Now there is no collisions in this race, as it is a feature race, so there shouldn't be much trouble passing him with this pace that Wolf Landry currently has.
One thing that's gonna hurt is Trooper 121 down in P15 is getting lapped by his teammate.
There's been a lot of separation between teammates in XBOW this season. We've seen, well, I can't really go off this right now due to the only one position separation between Roblox and Mr. Cowpox, but usually we've been seeing them separated a lot. It's the same with Ben and Notney, and just now Niorna and Trooper. Oh my god, I get that color scheme mixed up so much. Yeah. I believe
But the starkest contrast between teammates, as you were saying, not Neymar and Ben and Trooper and Niorna, is rather gracious. We're on the penultimate lap of the feature race, the race that has the most points, but is also longer than the sprint race. It's rather settled in terms of positions at the moment. There seems to be no moving around and not really any cars in proximity. Oh, I tell a lie. Sky of SDS and Apollo's truck having a battle for P12 at the moment. Oh, allow me to correct myself. Pilots for me and Apollo Struck battling for P13 with it's a lap car, I think, or a front running car. As I flip onto the real body boy who flips on the mound at turn 7.
Seems as if Wolf Landry has started his final lap of the race with a 12-second gap between him and the rest of the pack. I'm sure we may know whose winner is today, unless anything dramatic happens. Oh, and Niorna, oh no, that's not Niorna, that's a back marker right there. That's
his teammate. Oh no.
No,
That's
it was
Sky of SDS.
Yeah, it was. I'm not sure what team that was.
That's
it
the
looked like
Valor Academy car.
I just saw that Scion and the gap. But
Wolf
it was
Landry,
not Niorna.
Wolf Landry is taking it rather comfortably on the last lap of the race, being certain not to make any big mistakes. I say that as he comes sliding through the final sort of few corners of the race. But he's able to slide it and save it and keep it out of the wall, luckily enough for him. Taking it very smoothly through the final couple of corners. On the penultimate corner now, comes through the final and is the winner of both races here in Australia. Wins the sprint race and the feature race.
Amazing performance between for Wolf Landry for the race, and like I've said this many times before, but his performance, like, it's just been truly amazing compared to all the other drivers. He was a GT3 driver before, I believe, which is possibly why he has so much experience in road racing. So he's not a newcomer to the sport at all, but is a newcomer to XBOW.
It makes you question why a driver that was once in a professional series is all the way down in the junior series relative to GT3 at the moment.
On the last interview we had with Wolf Landry, we may have another interview with him today, but he did say he will be returning to GT3 next season, I believe. So that is something to look forward to.
There you saw the Rockstar car of Mr. Cowpox swerving across the line. I'm not sure if you want to celebrate a P7, but surely it's celebratable enough for that Rockstar team to be that high up in the order.
Apollo doing better than the sprint race earlier today, as one of their cars, Keeper Gassed 123, is in P9, so he'll bring some points back for the team.
Noble, clearly not happy with that P6 performance, has left the game almost immediately. Allow me to correct myself, the experience, as Roblox now calls it.
So that is today's race, the last car crossing the line, pilot format coming home with a P13. And that is our race.
So we have the 3 podium sitters waiting for the podium car pen to be opened. And Anthony Horner saying that his hands are hurting. That must have been a very, very difficult race for the 97 driver. One of the drivers having a few complaints about the track, and in particular Mr. Cowpox expressing his dislike for the track in a very, we'll say, vulgar method. Still waiting for the podium pen to be opened for these cars to go in.
The drivers are parking their cars and making their way to the podium. Today, well, right now, we're gonna invite Wolf Landry into, commentary box for an interview. Hello, Wolf Landry, amazing performance today. What are your thoughts on it?
Honestly, just bored. I'm just bored, so at the end I just started drifting around corners, see if I could hang around and do some. But yeah, I'm moving to GT3 next race. I'll ask Endon if I can just move in right away, because for the good of the XBOW, I need to move on. Like, I lead it almost every lap. This is just ridiculous.
So, do you have any concerns about being series locked with moving to GT3 then, or are you happy with staying in GT3 and not moving anywhere else after that?
I think I'd be happy with GT3 because 7 I know is pretty quick, so I'll leave that something to go for and try to overtake and catch up because right now it's just um, boring. Yeah.
That's understandable. We've seen a lot of people saying that you have definitely chosen a lot easier competition for this season compared
Yeah.
to what GT3 was last season.
And I can't take it anymore. Pretty much, I need to move on to GT3. I just need to. And also GTS had an issue with the car for the sprint race and pretty much had lag issues afterwards, so that was him out. But yeah, I hope the midfield battles was somewhat interesting at least. And yeah, so next race will probably be a new winner, which is good for you guys. That's boring.
It'll certainly be interesting to watch, a lot more interesting than the pure domination that you had today. Anyway, congratulations on your sprint race and feature race win. We'll see you very soon on the podium.
Alright, thank you.
Once again, congratulations, Wolflandry.
Thank you too.
So there you have it, folks. I was wrong about that. Wolflandry will be leaving to GT3 after well, what did he say, next race or after the next race?
With us now, we have the P2 sitter, Niona. Hey there.
Hello? Oh, Neonic does not have a mic at the moment, I believe. So we'll just move on to our P3 sitter, Ben. What do you have to say about your race, Ben?
All I'm gonna say is, I literally have no words for this. I'm legitimately shaking because none of us expected that we could pull this off. And
There was a very oh, sorry to cut you off.
go ahead.
There was a very close battle between you and Niorna. What are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, great race. I pushed the maximum out of what I could do without spinning myself out. It was just, this race was basically a miracle for me, for the whole team, and I'm also talking about the rest of the grid as well. It was just an excellent experience in my opinion.
Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts, Ben. That was a very exciting race to watch while you battled Niorna for P2. I'm sad you didn't get it, but it was a good race overall. Hope you enjoy that podium.
Thank you.
Enjoy your podium.
Thank you very much.
So that was Ben, our P3 position, moved up onto his relative podium position. We're waiting for Niorna to be welcomed onto the podium by the announcer. There's Niorna with his Rosewater moving on to the podium. Celebrating a bit early with the Rosewater there.
For some reason, Mr. Cowpox was on there.
Some people want to ruin it for the others. And Wolflandry. On his way to the podium now. Moves up onto that P1 slot. Clearly not as excited as he would be, as he admitted himself the competition in XBOW isn't as much as he would like it to be. So, the most important part, the driver's celebrations. Andre, clearly not too enthusiastic about it. Resetting himself on the podium.
So there you have it, folks. That's our Expo races for today. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you to our members. Your support is very highly appreciated here in the media team, and we appreciate what all you've done for us.
So to join the members ranks which you're seeing there, you just have to head down to next to the subscribe button, and you can join the reserve driver role for just 99 cents. It supports everyone in the media team, and you'll be joining various other people and getting multiple perks which you'll be able to see when you click the button down there. Don't forget to join us in 2 weeks, or the correct Expo commentary team. I was just filling in for this race. You'll be able to join them in Dubai in 2 weeks' time. So until then, you've got Formula E, IEC, and I8 racing next week. So I hope you enjoy that racing. But until then,
Once again, thank you everybody, and we'll see you at Palm Harbor Circuit.